Right, so let's start showing you some different techniques for swaddling. So swaddling is generally done for babies to help them sleep and help them settle due to the startle reflex. And it helps them keep babies nice and warm also and keeps them nice and snug. But there are several different ways that you can actually swaddle your baby. And also some babies who are real Houdinis, which I'll show you just a little bit further along, actually don't like being swaddled that much. So having the arms out or just having one arm out and one arm in sometimes helps as well. But first of all, just the very simple basic swaddle, especially from newborns onwards, is we fold one point of the blanket or the swaddle that you're using down, so we're creating a V or a triangle shape, and we place baby on top of that V. Now it just really depends on how big you want it. You can do it very little V so that you've got lots more material on the side, or you can do a big V that they're lying on. So it's really just up to you and what kind of swaddle you're actually using. Preferably when I put babies down is to actually place them slightly below the actual fold of the material. Then my preference is actually putting babies' hands on top of the chest area. It's a more natural position and also helps with further development once they're starting to use more of their motor skills as far as trying to find their hands with their mouth and things like that. I feel that babies having your arms down the side is slightly more constrictive, and when I actually think about me sleeping with my hands down, wrapped up in a blanket on my back, I would feel quite sort of claustrophobic and a bit constricted. So I prefer to have the hands on top of the chest area, which is more of a natural way of sleeping. So the very simple step as far as having both hands on the chest area is just giving the swaddle from one side a little bit of a stretch, and then pulling it over the other side of baby and underneath. So you're moving baby to the side a little bit, doing exactly the same, giving it a little bit of a stretch, nice and firmly over the top of bubs, and then bringing it down underneath them. So that looks like they're nice and firm, leaving the bottom really loose, or you can tuck it in. But the main thing is so that they can actually kick their legs and be very free to move around. If you've got a baby who's really enjoys swaddling and sleeps well, but is a little bit of a Houdini, what you can do is only do one hand on the chest, then fold it over the top. Move your baby slightly around so that you get the swaddle underneath. You tuck it right underneath their body, and then placing the other arm over the top and then back around. Sometimes that creates a little bit more security and a little bit more difficulty to get their arms out. The other way that you can also swaddle is having one arm out, or if you're actually transitioning from swaddling to a sleeping bag, or stopping swaddling altogether and you want to do it in steps, what you can do is just putting one hand on the chest area, again swaddling underneath, but leaving the other hand out of the swaddle and swaddling underneath their underarms. Now you may find as your baby's getting older, they may be trying to find their hands and trying to actually suck on their hands, which is all very normal and it's part of their natural development. And you also may find that they may be right-handed or left-handed and they're preferring one side better than the other. So just leaving that hand out that they actually like to suckle on will actually help them self-settle them as well. So just leaving that arm out, and you can just do that. If they prefer the other side, then you just basically swaddle the other side and leaving the other one out. And then they are free to do whatever they like to do with their preferred hand. Now the other way, if some babies, and there are some babies who really dislike swaddling and who are consistently getting their arms out, and that's okay too, because every baby's different and every baby sleeps differently as well. So what you can do is move your baby slightly up and actually just swaddle underneath the underarms and actually leaving the hands free so they can actually still feel secure around their torso area, around their body, and feel like they're nice and snug, but they've got their hands free to actually sleep however they want or use their fingers for self-soothing. Okay, so that's some of the swaddling techniques that you might want to use with your baby.